Welcome back. All right, so news of the day video for all you fine people for your Thursday, April the 6th. Quick news of the day video today as we get closer and closer to the playoffs. And that showed in last night's game against Tampa Bay and the Rangers. We knew there'd be something coming out of that. There are two fines coming out of that. Killorn's been fined for a slash on Igor Shesterkin. I'm sure everybody will be fine with that being a fine. And Fox was fined for slashing Perry. Again, I'm sure everybody will be glad with that being a fine. And for no other actions being taken coming out of that game. Again, a little bit of sarcasm in there with that, but I will say this: if these teams meet in the playoffs somehow, some way, again this year, it will be absolutely fantastic. I am a fan of teams meeting each other a lot because I do agree that familiarity breeds contempt. That is an absolute thing, and that it makes for more entertaining hockey when teams genuinely don't like each other. It is always made for more entertaining hockey. It's part of the reason why the NHL likes the rivalries thing and sticks with the playoff format as is. So David Krejci's going to be out tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs. That will hurt their lineup, but they've been dealing with guys being out of the lineup really since clinching a playoff spot. They've been moving guys in and out of the lineup, and a lot of the time it's players that if it was a playoff game they'd be playing, but because it's not, because everything's clinched, there's nothing. I can't say there's nothing to play for, but at this point, basically, if you're looking at standings and everything, there is nothing there for them to play for. It makes sense to have Krejci out and give him a night off, same as they've been doing with Bergeron, too. So, also on the Boston side of things, Taylor Hall practicing in a regular jersey. He's getting close to a return. Jim Montgomery saying he'd like to see him back in the lineup before the end of the regular season. That will put them over the cap. And if a team goes over the cap, unlike in some of the NHL playoff game or any not NHL playoff games, NHL EA games that I've played, they will actually let you play when you're over the cap. You just can't play with your full roster. So that would leave Boston having to rest one or two guys playing shorthanded the whole game, but having Hall in the lineup and making sure he's ready to go for round one in a week and a half's time. I think that supersedes anything else. So we got 8 days left in the regular season, and then after that, we're into the playoffs that following Monday. Ryan O'Reilly returns tonight for Toronto. We knew he was close. We know this is around the timeline that they gave when he got hurt. So him being back on the lineup should be great. Now, whether or not Matthew Knies joins this team will be known soon. The Frozen Four getting started. Once the Frozen Four is done, Matthew Knies intends to sit down with the Toronto Maple Leafs and discuss contract, and they'll have to sell him on what's more important, going back to school or starting his pro career now. If he starts his pro career now, does he find a way to continue and finish his education? Does he feel good with what he has for his education? We'll see. But yeah, Knies, I would say it's probably 50-50, right? Because I've seen reports on both sides of, well, he should go back to school, and I've seen reports of he should just turn pro. You know, he's gone through his sophomore year, all this fun stuff. So the Edmonton Oilers, their streak continues streaking. They are up to 12 games with at least a point. They're 11-0-1 in that streak. So it has been very impressive watching them lately. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins last night hits 100 points. It's the first time he's done it. It took 12 seasons. It is unusual for somebody's career to take that long. He's the sixth NHL player that's the case with. The most recent being Steven Stamkos. The most recent before that being, I believe they said Jean Rattel last night. And I thought, well, I haven't done a Jean Rattel video, but I could. But at any rate, yeah, it is nice to see Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, who is a very hardworking, good two-way forward, getting to 100 points. Does he maybe end up winning the Selke? I mean, it's probably going to be Bergeron's because it's always Bergeron's. But could Nugent Hopkins, with that 100-point season and the fact he's still a good two-way forward, put him in the conversation for the Selke? Could he, at the very least, be top three? An interesting scenario, I think, when it comes to the Selke this year. Because I think you can make the argument for a lot of forwards this year. Marilainen gets a start tonight for Ottawa versus Florida. So, with Sogard out with illness, Marilainen was given the start in the last game and played well. And I think he's earned the second start. There are a lot of good young goaltenders for Ottawa. They have kind of an embarrassment of riches in that category, but it's a matter of figuring out which one's going to be the next guy, and it may very well be Marilainen. Marilainen played well at the juniors for Finland, and so we'll see how he does with Ottawa tonight against Florida. Obviously a must-win game for Ottawa, whose playoff hopes have taken a pretty major blow over the last couple of weeks. They were right in the hunt, too. They were so close, and then that one road trip just kind of sank it for them. So Connor Bedard watch continues, and I figured I'd take a look at the WHL playoff picture while we're here. Just in terms of sweeps, because a lot of series getting over with early. So Bedard scored twice yesterday in an overtime loss against Saskatoon. So they won both games in Saskatoon. They lose both games in Regina, both in overtime. And so the series is now tied at 2. Seattle swept Kelowna in the first round. Winnipeg swept Medicine Hat. I was debating about whether to wear Thunderbirds or my Winnipeg Ice jersey, and I went, I'll wear Thunderbirds. Moose Jaw swept Lethbridge. I do not have a Moose Jaw jersey. Kamloops up 3-0 on Vancouver. Could sweep that one. And Portland's up 3-0 on Everett. The Portland Winterhawks, their new logo and jerseys, absolutely love those. Eventually I'll get one of those myself. But yeah, so things are going pretty quickly in the WHL. Looked at the OHL picture too. There are some series that are done. It is surprising to see London out in the first round because I'm used to London being a powerhouse. But at any rate, we will likely get into the whole CHL playoff picture as we get closer to the Memorial Cup. But for now, all done here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.